Hello, my delicious co-creators. Actually, I should say good morning. Maui. I'm on Maui in beautiful Hawaii. Wow, what a delicious place.
Aren't we lucky?
Lila, we're so lucky. I'm lucky to have met you. I love, love, love the experience on the beach and dancing with the different elements and feeling free in my body to just let go and live this beautiful music. Thank you for creating such a beautiful, thing here on Maui. Actually, it started in Oregon. You're from Oregon originally, right?
That's right. It started in Oregon in 2008, and then I moved here 4 years ago, and now I do beach dance on Maui.
Yeah, and we want to do beach dance everywhere around this planet. I mean, come on, this is great. Tell us about this idea and what really happens there and how this came about.
Well, it's an interesting story. I used to be an athlete, and I would run on the beach in Oregon with a Walkman, with a CD player. And then they started making smaller musical devices, which made it easier to just attach to your body. And there was one particular day where I was running, and all of a sudden it must have been a really good song. And I started dancing. Just stopped running immediately and started boogieing right there on the beach. And that kind of that was the seed. Maybe I could just do something like this, have events. And I thought, is there going to be enough crazy people like me that would want to get out in public, get out in nature, and listen and be free and not worry about what other people think? So I started to have this idea, and then I went ahead and went to the Apple iPod store and bought 15 of them and invited 15 friends and said, I have this idea to dance on the beach with these small little musical devices, and perhaps you'd like it as well. And I invited them out, and it was, again, in June of 2008 on the Oregon coast. It was gray, it was drizzly, but for an hour we danced out in the rain. And after the event was done, I said, what do you guys think? Did you like it? Should I do something like this? And a friend of mine said, you better do this. And so that kind of was the very beginning. But it took a while, and I think that's the way that our creative ideas work, is that they come to us somehow, and then the question is, will you follow it? Right? And so there was a period of time where I had the idea, and I didn't think that I could do it. Or maybe I thought I could do it, but would everybody else come on board with it? And then it was just...
I'll be the only one dancing in the rain.
I know. So it started again in June of 2008 in Oregon, and we only had a short period of time in which in Oregon you can dance out in the elements where it's not going to be storming. So from June until October, I would hold events. And then, of course, when I moved to Maui 4 years ago, we can do it year-round because the weather here is a little bit different.
Yeah, and you do that 2 times a week on Friday afternoons at 4:30 and Sundays. I mean, at least that's what's for now, because this video will stay over time. But these are what I found really cool, having experienced it, is that I would have never thought that electronics actually, I mean, now there's more and more waterproof, but this is waterproof. So we're actually in the water, dancing on the beach with all the song playing at the same time, and we press play at the same time. And here we're on Secret Beach here. This is where in Wailea, so the southern part of Maui, we could say, where you live and where you have this bed and breakfast too. And then we just plug this in, and here we are, all of us dancing on the same beach. I love it. But you started with a ceremony. You started with, could we say, like we hold hands, and you had this. You shared with us a poem or a theme. Is it always this way? Is it? Yeah,
typically it wasn't so much when I began it back in Oregon, but over time it developed, and of course I developed as well. And I felt that the way in which I was creating the music, which songs was I going to put on the hour-long playlist. It just seemed that there was a theme, typically, that would come from the music that was all melding together. And then I got more confident about sharing my own poems. So originally I would start to read things from other people. David White, for example, who's a brilliant poet, and then, like I said, over time, it was just like, you know what? I think that part of this ritual, as you called it, or a beginning, a centering, a grounding, it really helps to set the tone for people. And because I plan the music very intentionally, it can add to one's experience or not, so my invitation, if there's a particular theme, whether it's love or celebration or, dance your sorrow, whatever it might be, people that are part of that experience can either take that invitation in and dance with it or leave it far behind. And the reason being is that we typically have enough stuff in our bodies that we can just dance with that, and that's enough.
I've tried the 5 rhythm, ecstatic dancing, conscious dance. I mean, there's a lot of that going on the islands and all around the country. I just wish there was more of beach dance, because it's true, it's very special to be outside. People must think that we're crazy, though, because there's not music outside. And here we are all dancing on the beach, and people on Sunday are starting to show up and saying, "Whoa, what's this?" It's uncomfortable. It really gets you out of the comfort. I mean, it got me out of my comfort zone for sure.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. That's part of the experience. I mean, I created it truly out of this sense of, adults just don't have enough opportunities sometimes because we take on all these responsibilities as we grow up, and we need places and times and experiences in our lives to play and be like little kids again. And I think dance is certainly one of the main ways that we reconnect to this childlike essence of ourselves. But in regards to, the other people, right? So anybody that actually has, one of these iPods, they can hear the music. But anybody else that's on the beach walking by, right? They're like, what is that? And for the most part, I would say, yeah, exactly. Like, what are those people doing? For the most part, people are very intrigued. And I would also say inspired. Because there does take a wee bit of courage, to get out there and not worry about what anybody else thinks. Not just the people that are dancing with you, but the people that are not participating. And so it has been very rare where somebody would walk by and either say something discouraging or give a strange little odd look. We get those from time to time. But most of the time when people see what we're doing, they will smile.
Especially around here. I mean, it's quite open. Though Wailea is a very much touristy area, but the beach you choose are very special. I saw that you had a Kickstarter kind of campaign. I mean, these events are free, and then people donate, and you have this sharing, this kind of blessing of others, like, because money is like, it's like energy, right? So it just happened. Oh, there's a bug!
This is the wonderful thing about being in the tropics.
2 women just...
It's great. That's a dance itself, right?
You should do a bug dance.
A bug dance. Yeah, I did have a Kickstarter campaign about a year ago. And the reason for that was to go from the regular iPods that were not waterproof to having enough funds to purchase the waterproof iPods and headphones so that we could take our dance in and under the water and have a chance to play more with that element rather than just the sand or the rocks or, so it really has enhanced, really has brought this, literally a depth, right? There's this depth and this beautiful experience of being able to let your body just, float in the ocean or ride the waves. And so there's a little extra, I won't say danger, but, little precaution when people go into the water here on Maui that you need to be aware of, right? Your dance partner becomes the ocean, and the ocean can be a very strong, forceful dance partner. So it's really important when people are deciding to take their dance into the water that they're mindful of where the waves are and what they're doing. Yeah.
But I love the fact that it's open, it's available. It's like this sharing, this communion experience. You also create workshops from what I'm hearing. So you invite people for days, I guess, into these kind of dance. Or what else do you have there?
Yeah. So I offer 2 retreats a year here on Maui. More bugs. It is primarily movement based. So we do certainly a lot of dance with the iPods out in nature. And it's not just at the beach that we do this. We go into the jungles. We go to some very sacred spots here on Maui. But it's a combination of, when I say movement, it's not just the movement of our bodies. When we dance, when we have conversations, when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, when we allow ourselves to share stories, to be seen, it's very, very powerful and empowering in a small group. So these retreats are no more than 12 people. And sometimes they're co-ed, sometimes they're all women. I haven't had an all men one yet, so I'm ready for that one. So through writing, through intimate conversations, through other activities that we do, in about 4.5 days, we become a very tight unit who has witnessed each other in some pretty remarkable ways. So it is primarily, people say, well, what kind of retreat is this? I'll say, it's a dance retreat because it does definitely have a lot of dance in it, but it's a lot more. And so it's called uninhibited, because I do believe that there are places in our lives where we don't feel as free as we would like to be. So whether that's our work, whether that's our relationships, whether that's where we live, whether that's just stuff in our own lives that we'd like to free up some more, some areas where we can just expand into. It's fun. It's intense.
I think that's why we're here on Earth, is really to be freer and freer and just be who we are, because we're so delicious human beings once we start to discover this beauty inside that just want to be expressed, huh? And dance is part of that, big time. Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, I'm so glad we got to meet. I'm glad I got to try this. I invite you to try it. Maybe people can organize beach dance in some other places around the islands or anywhere in the States or in Europe, or where. Did you contact you?
Yeah, contact me. There's a lot of beaches on this beautiful planet Earth. And so I have the music, I have the devices. You just have to invite me and I'll come and play with you. But no, there's if somebody wants to start something like this, where they're at, please contact me. I'm actually returning to Oregon today, right after our interview, and I'm going to go back where it all began and dance with people that are now continuing it since I've left. So, yeah.
Beautiful initiative. I'm inspired, and I know this will inspire thousands of people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lilou. It's been lovely to speak with you, and please come back to Maui and dance with us again.
Oh, yes, I love this island. Lila and Lilou reunited. We send you big kisses from delicious Maui. Dance your butt off. Aloha. Aloha. Bye.